Hey, welcome to this training video. In this training video, we'll take a look at how you can get started with your first crossword puzzle, right? And to demonstrate it, I'm taking an account which has got access to just the front end offer, which is where you can see access now. The upgrades are not associated or not available with this particular account. So that way I can show you exactly how you can create a crossword puzzle if you just have the front end access, okay? So click on access now button and that would take you to the collections page. Collections is nothing but a folder structure. So this is where you give a name that is relatable for your project. So in this particular case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is a demo collection or a demo project. And then what I'll do is click on this to land on the interface. This is the what you see is what you get editor. So please give it some time so that these messages turn green. And once they have turned green, you are all set to get started with the content creation. Okay, so you can see that you've got two icons available over here, two page layouts that are available over here, and they are redundant in nature. What that means is you can actually create one from the other as well, and I'll be showcasing you exactly what I mean by that in the next video where we talk about customization. But for now, let us understand how you would go about creating your first crossword puzzle. All you need to do is click on one of these templates, okay? Click over here and that would insert the puzzle onto this page, okay? So you can change the zoom level over here and you can see the crossword puzzle available on this particular page, right? When you insert it, it will have some default clues and default words, okay? It will have default clues and default words. You would need to alter the words based on your requirement, because at the end of the day, you are not going to use the default word that the application gives you. You would have your own word set, right? So the way you would edit this puzzle is by clicking on this. When you click on this, this changes. Two things happen. Take a note of this, okay? When I click on this, you would see this thing changes. This is the context menu, and this context menu would change and it would give you a few controls that you can use to alter the puzzle. That's number one. Number two is you would see changes on the left hand side as well, where you will be able to do further customization. We will talk about that in the next video. But for now, let me show you how you can go ahead and change the words and the clues in the default puzzle to make it your own. Okay, click on this and in the context menu, go to this option which says edit words. Okay, click on edit words. That would open up a window where you would be seeing these words. For example, here apple, and then you've got a semicolon, then you have a description or a clue, right? So a red or green fruit that's crunchy and grows on trees, so that's apple. Mango, a sweet yellow fruit that's juicy and tropical. So you can see that you've got these words: apple, mango, plum, melon, orange, banana, grape, peach, pear, lime, kiwi, and you have got the description or the clues over here. So let's go ahead and try this out, okay? Before that, let's take a look at the the clues over here. As you can see, it's written a small purple fruit with a pit in the middle, a small green fruit that tastes sour. So you know that these are all about fruits, okay? Let us go ahead and edit them now so that we can include, say, animals, birds, and other things, right? So let's say we call this rat, right? And the clue is a rodent, right? Let's call this cat, a furry pet, right? Let's call this dog, man's best friend, right? Let's have another word, giraffe, a tall animal, okay? Let's say lion, and we call this, I don't know why I went with lowercase in the first ones, but yeah, let's just roll with it, okay? So we've got lion over here, and here I'll say king of the jungle, right? I'll go with, say, tiger. So here I'll say royal predator, okay? I'd say monkey. Let's say a fun-loving creature, right? And here we would have, say, zebra, and I would call this animal with black and white stripes. Okay, and here let's say we call this what? Bat. So a flying mammal, is that something that we can call it? A flying mammal. Now please ignore any mistakes I'm making here, because at the end of the day these are not your words and clues. You will have your own words and clues. All I'm trying to demonstrate, all I'm trying to do is demonstrate the process so that you understand how you can go about editing these. Okay, so we've got bat, and after that what you would do is you would probably use another one, which is let's say camel. Animal that roams the deserts, right? um, Here we'd say emu, right? Emu, native Australian bird, right? A native Australian bird. So this is where what I did is I edited the list of words and I edited the clues so that I could show you how you can customize your word list. Now, of course, you will not be using these clues and words, you will be using your own. But once you have edited them on this interface, go ahead and save it. The moment you save it, you will see that it reflects nicely on this particular page. So you can see 3 across is a flying mammal, that would be a bat. So you would write BAT over here. Let me just go ahead and switch on the solutions so that you can see what is going on over here, right? You see bat, BAT, bat. Then 5 is a tall animal, so that was giraffe. You can see that here. We've got 7, king of the jungle, across. So you go to 7. Where is 7? Let's figure it out. King of the jungle is lion. This is 7, Lion, right? Let me see if I can just make this 50% in case that makes it easier for you to visualize, right? So we've got 9, animal with black and white stripes, that would be zebra. So 9 across is zebra. We've got royal predator, that would be tiger. 11, you see tiger here. Down we have got animal that roams the desert, that would be camel. So you go and search for 1 and then you have camel over here. Number 2 is man's best friend, that would be dog. So that's what you see here, right? Then you've got a furry pet, that would be cat, and that is 4 down. Let's see, 4 down, okay? You've got a fun-loving creature. What's that? Monkey. Number 6, 6 down, monkey. You've got a rodent, rat, 8 down. That's what you see here. And a native Australian bird, that is emu, that should be 10, emu, right? So this is how you insert your first puzzle. You edit the content so that you are able to create a custom, puzzle with your own words and your own clues. Okay, that's how you go about editing it. Now, one of the things that you need to remember is there are a ton of customization options. Okay, and if you're not happy with the look and feel of this, you can always try to regenerate the data. Click on this, left click on this. When you hover away from it, you would see the little circles at the corners that shows this has been selected. When you select this, the context menu opens up, and one of the features that you have in the context menu is the regenerate data option. Okay, when you click on this, it will change the layout of the puzzle. Okay, it will change the layout of the puzzle without really changing the words, without really changing the clues. So you can have multiple designs for the same set of words and clues, and you can alter them until you're happy with it. In case you find yourself in a situation where the puzzle is not aligning properly with the page and it is going out of the page dimensions, all you have to do is drag it down. Okay, so for example, this one, you can just drag it down here, right? And then you can drag it down here so that this looks consistent, and then drag down this particular headline as well, and then you would bring this down here. Okay, so this is how your puzzle would look. So play around with those options and organize them the way you would want it. Now you might be wondering, Niranjan, that's great, but what is the benefit of us having this layout? Well, this layout is created in such a manner that you get instant access to the layout where your content is organized towards the right hand side. Okay, you could achieve the same results here as well, because the app is very flexible and you can drag and drop your components over here. Okay, so for example, this is what I could do. I could take this content and position it in this manner, right? So across is this, and then I would take down over here, all right, and I would move this here as well. Okay, so this is how you can customize things. This is how you can customize your components and make sure that they look nice on the pages. One of the things that is noteworthy here is the clues are extremely flexible. You can drag and drop them. They have a lot of customization options associated with them as well. We will talk about that, but for now it's important that you know that you can drag them and position wherever you want, and this gives you the flexibility of designing custom page layouts that do not really comply with any of the base templates that we provide you. Okay, so this is the reason why I say that these are redundant. Components. There is one advantage of this though, like you could achieve the same result as this, but then as you can see, it needs you to drag and drop them, right? And then you have to spend some time making them consistent. The thing with this here is we have already taken care of organizing them in a proper manner so that they come as a single component, and that is what saves you a little bit of time. Okay, so that is the only difference between this and between the two components that we have here. All right, thank you so much. So in this video you learned how to create your first crossword puzzle template or page layout, and then you learned how you can edit your words and clues so that your words show up in the puzzle and it becomes a custom puzzle that you can actually include in your KDP book. In the next video, we will learn about the various customization options we have for the puzzle and for the clues. Okay, thank you. Hey, welcome to this training video. In this training video, we will learn about customization options that you have for your crosswords puzzle. All right. And I'm using the same account that I had for the front-end access. So this account has only front-end access. So whatever features you see here will be relevant to you if you have just got the front-end. You don't have to bother about having any of the upgrade access in order to implement whatever I'm showing you in your dashboard and eventually use it in your books. All right. So in the last video, we saw how you can create a template for crosswords and how you can update that with your own word sets and clues. Okay, in this video, what we are going to do is take a look at the various options that we have available to us to customize the content. Okay, so if you click on this, left click, okay, when I say click on this, I'm talking of left clicking. You click on that and then you would see a blue border showing up. And when you hover away from the puzzle, you would see that the blue border persists and there are like 4 circles at the corners. Now let me show this to you again. Okay, when you take your take the mouse on top of, you take the cursor on top of the puzzle, you would see the blue border shows up. The moment you move away, it is gone, right? It is gone. You again move to the area of the puzzle, you would see the blue border. Now when you left click on this, this is when it gets selected, because now when you move away from it, you see that the border persists and you have 4 dots at the corners. Okay, when this is selected, you would see a left panel opens up which gives you options to change things, right, to alter things so that the look and feel of the puzzle can be altered. Now let me explain what each of these elements or functions mean. Okay, cell size, this defines the size of the block. Now you've got horizontal and vertical rows. There's a grid of horizontal and vertical rows, right? So every cell that you see here, which is surrounded by 4 lines or 4 line segments, whatever you call them, each block is called a cell and the size of the cell is defined by this number. So if you change this to say 250 and then update, the idea is the size of this cell should increase. As a result, your crossword puzzle would become bigger, right? That is what we see here. Okay, so this is what we see. I mean, this is what was expected. Now if you go back to 120, right, and you click on update, you would see that this would come back to the original size that we had which is which is relevant to 120 cell size. So that is what cell size is. Font scale is the relative size of the font. Okay, it is the absolute size of the font, to be honest, but it is the font change happens without the actual cell size changing, because the cell size is controlled by this particular parameter, right? So when you increase the font scale, you would see, notice what happens to these fonts when I click on update. Do you see the font size is actually increased? Let's go ahead and increase it even further. Do you see what is happening here? If you take it to left, you would see the font size decreases. Okay, so this is the job of font scale. Whenever you have to change the font size of the letters that have been placed inside of the puzzle, you would want to use the font scale. Okay, number font scale. So this changes the font size of the numbers. Now let me switch off the solution so that you can see the numbers properly. Okay, now there are numbers here. These are the numbers which are associated with this clues, like across and down clues, right? So when you change the number font scale or increase the number font scale, you would see these number sizes increase, the font sizes increase for those numbers. Okay, so you have to go with a number that looks good, number one, and is also functional. It doesn't interfere with the writing area for the user, so that it's not very inconvenient, because if you make it too big and it occupies the space given over here, then it might be difficult for the user to write the solution, and it can lead to annoying user experience, and that is not something any of us want, correct? So now let us increase this significantly, because I just want to show you the next parameter that you can control, and that would be the font size of these numbers, font types of these numbers. Okay, so you get access to 900 fonts that you can use to alter the fonts over here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll click on Roboto Regular, then it will take us to this particular interface. I'll delete it so that all of them show up, and now I'll select a different font than what we had earlier. Take a look at this one right now. Okay, I selected this so I can see a check mark over here. I'll go back and now I'll update this. Okay, you can see that the font size has changed. That is because we now have changed the font family. Okay, if you go back here again, let me just repeat this process so that you understand what's going on. And I go to say something like this one. All right, I don't know what this is, but let's say we whether we like it or not, but let's say we roll with it. Okay, and we change this to update. We just update the status. You would see that the font has changed. Okay, so that's how the number font size works. Stroke width scale, let us just reduce this so that it doesn't occupy so much space. I think this is reasonably good looking. Stroke width scale, this essentially changes the width or the thickness of the horizontal and the vertical bars that we have here. So if we increase this and update it, you would see that the thickness of the borders have changed. Okay, thickness of the borders have changed. Take a look at this one. All the thickness of the borders have changed. All right. So now, if you reduce them, if you reduce the value over here, you would see that that reflects on this puzzle. Okay. Now, text X offset, text Y offset changes the relative position of the text in the boxes. For that, let me just show you the solution. Take a look at the position of the letters over here. If I change the X offset, let's say I give it an exorbitantly large number or value, and then we see what happens. You can see that it literally went off to the right. Okay, it went off to the right. That is what happens when you give a X offset. So the value that you give here, it moves the content of it moves the text to the right. Okay, if you give a negative value, it will move it to the left. All right, the reason why this is provided is for you to have absolute control or granular level control over the positioning of the letters, so that they do not conflict with the numbers that have been provided here, or rather they comply with the design requirements you might have in place for your puzzles. Okay, so that is the reason why we have given this more often than not, you'll find yourself not using this if you are happy with the default settings that we have given here. Similarly, as you can understand, Y offset is going to change the relative position of the letters with respect to the box in the vertical direction. So if I change this to 100 over here, you will see that this comes down. Ideally, it should have gone up, but that's okay. It's not really a true blue component that you need to use a lot, so you can deal with it, right? If you want to move it the other way around, just go with -100 and you should be good. Okay, so this is what we are dealing with over here. Okay, now if you have to change or alter or move the numbers that you have in the cells, you would use these options: number, text, text offset. So let's go with 100 and then just see what happens. Okay, everything moved to the right. All right, let's go with -100. You would see everything moves to the left. Okay, so just have 0 and you would have the default option, which, if you ask me, looks pretty decent. Okay, pretty decent. So now what we'll do is we'll take a look at Y offset. We'll change this to 100. You can see what is happening over here. And now we'll change this to zeros to take it back to its original position. Let's try -100 to see what it looks like. Okay, so you now know how to play around with these options in order to come up with the perfect layout or perfect positioning of the numbers and the letters with respect to each other and with respect to the cell that they are placed inside of. Okay, so that is pretty much it. You can show the solution on the page using this option, and you can switch it off if you do not want it. Now you might be wondering, Niranjan, why do we need to show the solutions here? Because solutions should come at the end of the manuscript. Well, there are options, there is provision for you to create solutions at the end of the manuscript. I'm going to talk to you about that, but for the time being, you need to understand that this show solution option is going to show the letters or the words on the puzzle page itself, and this is going to help you a lot when you are kind of eyeballing your content to make sure everything is perfect. And oftentimes, for younger kids, you might be creating books where you have one page having the puzzle and the other one having the solution, so that the kids can actually verify the content and self-check it, right? This is a requirement that has been presented to us from our community over the years, so that's the reason why we have that option. In case you're wondering how to make it happen, all you need to do is clone this page. Okay, clone this page. When you clone this page, you would see that the exact same puzzle has been recreated over here. Now what you can do is you can show the solution here. That way what happens is you can have the puzzle on one page and the exact same puzzle you can have with the solutions on the other page, following it. So this is a pretty big use case that our customers have shared with us in the past, and that is the reason why we have got this feature in place. Okay, so that summarizes the options you have when it comes to changing the look and feel or customizing the look and feel of the crosswords. Okay, now let's take a look at you know what, I think we are at 11 minutes. Probably we'll take a look at the customization option for the clues in the next video. That way we can keep this video succinct and to the point, so it's easy for you to follow. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, welcome to this training video. In this training video, I'm using a different account which has access to front end and the pro offer. The reason being, there are some advanced features as far as customization of your crossword puzzles is concerned, and those are included in the pro option. So I'm going to go through this and help you understand how you can work with them. Okay, in case you're wondering how are the features distributed, that is not the scope of these videos, because these videos are on training you about how to use the apps effectively. If you're interested in knowing what is contained in these offers or in this particular upgrades, you would have to visit the sales pages and see there. If you find something that you're not clear about, or if you're confused about, you'll have to send a support ticket and then get it clarified before making a buying decision. All right, so let's head on to the interface. And what I would do here is I would say call this demo. I would delete this collection, click on demo and land on this interface over here. So if you see, we have got some more templates that are available over here. We are not going to discuss all of these templates because our focus is going to be on building our understanding or knowledge of the customization options that we have available to us for the regular crosswords. Okay, so what I have done is I've got the crossword, one of the crosswords on this page, and as you remember from the previous video, in order to play around with the settings that you have for customization of the crossword, you would just need to left click on this and that would open up this setting. In the previous video, we learned about cell size, font scale, number font family. We learned about stroke width scale. We learned about text x offset, y offset, number text x offset and y offset, and show solution options, right? So we saw some of those features, but you can see we have got a ton of other options available over here as well. That is because these are included in the pro offer, which is OTO 1 or upgrade number 1. Okay, now let's take a look at some of these offers. Text color. This is going to give you, this is giving you the ability to change the color of the text that you want to showcase inside. So if you show the solution, the default one is black, but the moment you go here and you play around with this color palette and update, you would see that you are able to change the color now. You might be wondering, Niranjan, don't you preach that we should not be using color font for our puzzle books in KDP interiors? Answer is yes, you shouldn't be doing that, because that way your production cost is going to shoot up and you will not be competitive anymore. But these may be required when you are dealing with content or digital downloads to sell on Etsy, Teachers Pay Teachers, on your own website for kids that might be that might find it interesting to deal with colored content. So you have the option to play around with those. Okay. When it comes to the number font family, you can go ahead and change it here as well. So if you click on this and let's say we go with a purple color, I don't know if it will be visible, but yes, you can see what it looks like, right? There's the purple color on every single number that we have. Stroke color, this changes the line, the vertical and the horizontal line colors. Okay, so if you click over here and you go with say the blue color and then click on update, you would see that this thing changes, right? This thing changes completely, isn't it? So that is what we get when we play around with the stroke color. Letter cell fill. So this is where you would be able to change the fill of the cells where letters are present. So click on this and let's say we go for black over here, and this is how it would look like. Okay. Empty cell fill. This is what the empty cell fill is all about. So if you go here and let's say you go with a color that looks something like this. Okay, say we go with a very lightish blue color. I don't know this is blue or green, but let's say we go with that. This is how it would look. Okay, we have already seen x offset, y offset, number x offset, number y offset, and so on. And this is how it would look, right? This is how you would be able to customize literally every single aspect of the puzzle that you see on this page. Now, one other important thing is you would be able to click on this particular parameter, toggle it off in order to showcase a puzzle like this. Okay, a puzzle like this. So here what we have done is we are calling this the open style. I believe one of our members in the community, she mentioned that this would be an open style crossword, and this is what the legacy app literally helps you create. So this option is available in OTO 1 where you can toggle this off so that you can get access to this kind of a layout. Take a look at this. All right, this is how it looks. Now if you want, you can always play around with the options and change things around to make them look the way you want. But yes, this is all that is there for you to customize when it comes to the puzzle itself. You can of course regenerate the data and so on. You can play around with it until you're happy, and create just the layout that fits your requirements. Now, we have learned about customization options for the crossword puzzles. Okay, what we are going to do now is go ahead and take a look at the customization options that are available for the clues. Now, in the legacy app, you might have seen that the clues, we didn't really have any control of the page, right? You could not drag and drop, you could not insert elements and so on. None of that, none of those features were available to you. But here it's a whole different ballgame. Okay, it's a whole different ballgame. When you left click on one of these, clues, you would see that the left navigation opens up. This tells you that you have the ability to utilize all of these customization features for this style. Okay, you have the ability for all these customization features for this style. Now, line height is something that is available in the front end. I didn't show it in the front end video because it was just one feature, so I thought I'll cover it over here. But if you have just front end and nothing else, you would still see the line height feature. And what it does is it actually enables you or gives you the power to change the height of this line. Okay, and you can drag and drop it to make it consistent. All right. This is where it gets very interesting because you have this option called has fill. The moment you click on that or you toggle it on, you now would be able to provide a background color to this particular layout. Because we have got fill color as white, you are not able to distinguish it from the background. But the moment you click over here and go with something like this, you notice that this now gives you a nice little design change from what you had seen so far. Okay, now if you want to accentuate the look and feel with a border, by all means go for it. I'm a big fan of border thickness of 8. Now you can do whatever you like, but it's just that it's a personal preference. I like a border of 8. And then when you go for border color, you can go for any color of your choice, right? So that is not a problem at all. Let's say we go with yellow, and I don't think yellow is that conspicuous, so let's stick to black. And you can choose from solid, dotted and dashed. I am a big fan of the dash style. So this is how it looks. You can further customize it. By changing the border radius to make it look something like this, where you have these edges that have a radius. Okay, so this is what you would be you'd be playing around with in order to customize the clues that are available. And in case you want to have the padding available here as well, you can do that. So for example, if I change this to say 100, change this to 100, change this to 100, and change this to 100, right? So you should see that the distance between the content and the border changes. Okay, and now there is a little bit of a problem because it works for the top and the bottom. Sorry, it works for the top and the left. Somehow it doesn't work for the right and the bottom. So this is a tech glitch. This is a bug that we will be taking care of real soon. But the objective of border padding is to allow a padding on whatever border you are using it on. Okay, so that is it. That is all that I have to share with you as far as the customization options are concerned for the puzzle and the clues. I'll see you in the next video with another interesting topic. See you there. Hey, welcome to this training video. In this training video, we will learn about a very important concept which you will be using while you create your manuscripts, because this is what will save you a lot of time over the coming months and years. All right, we are going to learn about the bulk cloning concept, and I'll be showing you 2 types of bulk cloning that you can do and the benefits of each one of them. Okay, so let us get started with this puzzle. Let's have a default puzzle created. So this is the default puzzle that we have. All right. Now imagine what would be the process, what would the workflow look like if you have to create, say, 10 pages or 20 pages or 100 pages. The ideal scenario would be you clone this page, right? You clone this page. When you clone the page, you would see that the exact same puzzle is cloned over here. You have the exact same clues. Then to differentiate this, you would go ahead and start editing the words that show up here, right? Once you are done with it, you would clone it again, right? And then you would see that page number 3 has the exact same content as page number 2, and then you would go about customizing it again. So this is the workflow, this is the process that you will be repeating 100 times in order to create 100 pages, right? That's the idea. Now, what exactly are you doing? And is there a better way of achieving the exact same results? What you're doing is you are cloning this to create an exact replica of this page and then editing it. It's a two-part process. When you do this 100 times for 100 pages, that's basically 200 steps that we're talking about, right? You would clone these 100 times and then you would edit each one of them every single time you clone a page. Now, you can reduce the time that is spent on this entire process. Okay, let us understand how is it that you can reduce time in the first step where you are cloning one page at a time. So if you have OTO 1 or if you have upgrade number 1 in the funnel, then you would see that you have access to this option called bulk clone. When you click on this bulk clone option, it will show a pop-up where you have two options. One is simple clone and one is Crosswords bulk upload. In this particular video, we will focus on simple clone and will understand how it saves us time from having to replicate one page 100 times with the exact same content as the previous one. Okay, so instead of clicking 100 times to create 100 pages where each page that I create is similar to the previous one, I can actually go here, simple clone, and then give the number of pages that I want. I can just say 10 and clone pages, and that would create 11 pages in total, because I have the first page, which is the template, and then 10 more pages would be created. As you can see, every single one of them is the exact same page that is the clone does for you. Now you might be wondering, Niranjan, what's the use case? Because there's no point in having for in a manuscript. Ideally, what you want to do is you would want to have a book or a manuscript with 100 pages with unique puzzles, unique words, unique clues. We'll address that in the next video. For the time being, let's understand the use case that we have over here. Okay, let's understand what simple bulk clone does. Simple bulk clone clones the master sheet, retains the puzzles, retains the clues as is. It doesn't change anything at all. The idea behind it is to retain the design elements and everything else that is there on the master sheet. Okay, that is how you would be using. If you find a use case for it, if you find a scenario where you want multiple pages with the exact same puzzle, exact same clues, so that you can probably further edit them, you would want to go with simple clone, right? Now, if you want to have multiple pages in the manuscript created in bulk, okay, if you want to have multiple pages in the manuscript created in bulk, each having their own word sets and their own clues, essentially they are all unique puzzles, you would need to use the other option, the option that's called Crosswords bulk upload. All right, now this definitely deserves a video of its own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video here, because we will call this the simple clone training, and in the next video I'll show you what Crosswords bulk upload is all about, how this bulk cloning technology is going to change the way you think about creating crossword puzzle books for your KDP business. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, welcome to this training video. In this training video, we will look at the options that you can use to create manuscripts in bulk, where every single page has unique content, unique words, unique clues as per your requirement, and it enables you to save hours and hours of your time that you would otherwise have spent on creating individual pages by updating the puzzles, right? So what we're going to do is make use of a feature called bulk clone. For that, you would need to have access to OTO 1, because this is a feature that is available in OTO 1 or upgrade number 1. Click on this bulk clone option over here. That would open up this particular screen, this pop-up. You would see for this particular use case, we are going to use Crosswords bulk upload option. Okay, in the previous video, we saw what is simple clone all about, and you saw that the limitation of simple clone is, while it creates multiple pages for you, it does not really update those pages with unique content. What you need is something that helps you create unique pages, unique content, unique puzzles, unique clues, and probably do that at scale, so that it saves you a ton of time, right? So this is the feature that you are looking for. Now, before we move on to that, before we move on to this, let us download this sample file, because this is the input file that you would have to update with your content and then upload it here. Okay, so let us understand what this file looks like. Click on this, it will download the file. I'll just say sample crosswords, save it, and let's open this file. Okay, let us open this file. This is what the input file looks like, and you have to make changes to this. You cannot change anything to the format, because if you change anything to the format, then it will not be recognized by the application. You would have to follow this format, right? You start over here, you start updating, you start updating the words for page number 1 in this section. Then you write the clues adjacent to those words in column number 2. Column number A is where you write the words. Column number B is where you write the corresponding clues. Okay, and the moment you provide a blank row, that tells the application that this is the end of content for page number 1. The content that follows this blank row is the beginning of the content for page number 2. Similarly, it goes on and assumes that this content is for 2 until it finds another blank row. So if you have more words than what is given here in the template, you just add them, and after you are done with your word set, just provide a blank row so the application knows that that is it, that is the end of page number 1's content, and so on. Okay, now you can see in this particular case the default template that we have, or the sample template that we have got set number 1, that means 1 page, then we have got a blank row, then we have got a set of data, this is for page number 2, we have got a blank row after that, then we have got another set of data over here. So we have essentially got 3 pages worth of data in this particular file. So when I use this template for bulk cloning, I should see 3 new pages created. One of them would be about phone, music, movie, and so on. One of them would be about class, note, quiz, club, and so on. And the other one would be travel, dance, style, and so on, right? So let us go ahead and use this to bulk clone. Okay, so what you would do is, ideally after downloading the template, you would make the changes, save it, and then input it. But for the purpose of demonstration, I'm just taking the same file as an input. Now let us take a look at the condition of our manuscript right now. We just have 1 page. As you can see, we have got 1 page over here, and when I scroll down, there's nothing else. My expectation is, when I input this file, because it has data for 3 pages, I should see 3 new pages. Okay, when you combine this initial template with it, I should end up with a manuscript of 4 pages. All right, sounds logical? So now what we will do is, we'll click on bulk clone, click over here, and then go to the input file that you have prepared, or in this case that I have downloaded. Click on open and let the software do its magic. Okay, you can see bulk clone crosswords initiated. Just wait until this kind of turns green or just goes away. Okay, it does take a little bit of time after the content has been created, but just give it some time. Okay, so now that we have uploaded the input file, you would see our expectation is we should have 4 pages, right? 3 pages from the file and 1 master file that was existing earlier, 1 master page that was existing earlier. So this is page number 2. You can see, let's go ahead and show the solution so that we can relate to it. You can see game, video, movie, and all of that stuff. When you go to page number 3, you would see, you would see sport, test, class, and so on. And then you've got page number 4, where you would show the solution, and this is what you would see: dream, laugh, dance, hero, music, and so on, right? So this is how you would be creating multiple pages with unique content at a speed that is unprecedented. Okay, and oftentimes remember that you will have to come here and delete the first page if you don't need it, because that was a template. So you might want to use that as a template, and once you're done with it, you might want to get rid of it. Okay, so that is how you would use the bulk clone option, and this is a very important feature. I cannot overemphasize the importance of you understanding how it works, becoming familiar and comfortable with the input file. In case you are unable to make it work, ask questions in the Facebook group again and again, but just make sure you are on top of this particular feature and you understand how to make the most of it. Okay, This is going to save you a ton of time and is actually going to give you a genuine fighting chance to create books at scale that can generate a passive income for you over the years to come. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, welcome to this video. In this video, we will learn about creating the solution pages that are perfectly aligned with the content that you create. So in the last video, you saw that we created 3 pages using the bulk clone option. Now, it doesn't really matter how you create your pages, whether you create it using bulk clone, whether you individually create the pages, at the end of the day, it's your manuscript, right? The moment you have done or created the content that you want, you would want to create solution pages, right? So the way you would create the solution pages is like this. You would go to this particular option, right? Hover over this. It will show you a tooltip which says show solutions. Right now, we do not have the solutions at the end of the manuscript. These are solutions showing up on the page because we have switched this on. Ideally, in your book, in your manuscript, you wouldn't have this switched on because this is what the solvers will be solving the puzzle for, right? So this is how your manuscript would look. And when you want to have the solutions created at the end, what you would do is you click on show solutions, and then you would pick how many solutions you want to show per page. Now, ideally, you should be showing as many as possible that is legible, that is something that users can read. The reason why you would want to have multiple solutions per page is to reduce the number of pages that you dedicate towards the solution pages, okay? That way your overall page number count will stay under control and the costs will be low. Imagine you have a 100-page manuscript. You have 100 pages of puzzles and you are creating one solution per page. That would mean you would have 100 pages for solutions only. That is something that you do not want because you now have 200 pages. The customer is paying for 200 pages, and to make a minuscule profit on it, you would have to struggle a lot because your production costs are very high. But imagine if you could reduce the number of puzzles per page to say 10, right? If you have 10 puzzles per page or 4 puzzles per page, in fact, you would be able to cut down the total number of pages required for solutions to 25, right? So if you have a 100-page manuscript and you are providing 4 solutions per page at the end of the manuscript, you would just need about 25 pages to complete all the solutions that you need for your book, okay? So that is where you come here and you choose the options that are available to you. So for example, let's say we go with 4. Now remember that we only have 3 pages. So even if we go with 4, we would have 3 solutions on the page, right? So click on generate solutions, and this is how the solutions would look. Do you see this? This is puzzle 1, this is page 1, puzzle 1, page 2, puzzle 2, and page 3, puzzle 3. This is how it would look, and you would be able to, you'd be able to create this kind of solutions at the end of the manuscript, okay? So if you make any changes whatsoever, so let's say you introduce a few more pages, let's say we want to add a few pages, like I just cloned a page, right? So when you do any kind of changes to the manuscript, the solutions would automatically be removed. This is a feature that has been baked into the application to make sure that there is absolutely no scope of you being able to have a solution page that does not make sense, that is not perfect, that is not having the right answers, that is not connected to the right page, right? So every time you make a change, you would see that the solution is gone. So please make it a habit that you always generate the solutions right before you download the manuscript. All right. So here, what we have done is we have gone ahead with 4 per page, and this is how it looks. Okay. That is it. That is all about